Greetings! My name is Joe Bob, and I'm very peeved. And welcome back to Sunless Seas. Last time we got the Indomitable Campaigner storyline, and we grabbed the Fulgent Impeller. Now that we've done all that, we need to actually get around to, doing our ambition. Ooh, hang on. First, let's take on that Lifeberg real quick. Oops, shit. There we go. Ah yes, and of course the pirate boat stuff. Status report. This time only light injuries, Captain. Smiling Doctor tells you. Good. Finally good news. Watching the pirates tiptoeing around their officers like any second one of them could explode is really annoying. The pirate poet had the right idea when she decided to spend the time until Gator's morn in her cabin writing poetry. Of course you could have stopped her, but the prospect of her anger about her officers being redirected at you held you back. It's not like anyone would be brave enough to call her or you out for this anyway. As the smiling doctor was about to leave, he decided it's time for some answers and asked him about the stern navigator. You see, he's actually mostly mad at you. He's enraged that our reputation gets damaged from losing against you every time we attack. I mean, it really shouldn't. I mean, I've fought the Eater of Names flawlessly, not to mention Mount Nomad. But whatever, people are silly. If you ask me, however, it's actually pretty hard to be furious about someone who saved you from drowning and gives you way back home. Besides, it's not like the pirate poet cares about gossiping smugglers and drownies. Indeed. Now then. Time to swing by Low Barnet. To, do our ambition. It doesn't look like you could bang into it. It looks like you just go right over it. But you will bang into it. Kind of weird. Oh. Oops. Alright, here we go. Low Barnet. Sunken Church. Blah 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 blah. Anyways. Find the fierce philanthropist's husband. Your source said he could be found here. And who is that in the shadow of the app? Lytton stands in a secluded corner. He is inhumanly tall. His lower body is encased in a block of coral that raises him up. Beneath his shirt, his body is lumpen. A tracery of it, lurid and pink, has begun to sprout on his cheek, following the course of his veins. That's it. He ignores you, intent instead on buffing a smooth shine from the brass. Perhaps a reminder of his past life will help. You hold the open locket up before him. Evelyn, he says involuntarily, and looks at you. She sent you? I always expected that other parties would find me first. He looks down at the gradual encroachment of coral. I cannot return, for her safety as well as the obvious, but I ask that you withhold the full nature of my condition from her. I wouldn't want to cause her further distress. Don't worry, I definitely won't. Oh, what? We were the seven against Nidah, Nidah, the capital of the Presbyterate, those old bastards. Soldiers, spies, healers, sailors. That's only 4. We meant to democratize death. Wait, hang on. Soldiers, spies, healers, sailors. That's all plurals. But that means that you had... But 7 does not even evenly divide by... You know what? Whatever. I don't care about the math. And we meant to democratize death, to break Nidah's hold on immortality and distribute their hoard of years more evenly. It was a good scheme. Bourdain recruited our legions, Lorenzo charted our path, Eric sailed our ships up the Red River on living ships. Batuk led our armies. Rosina healed our wounds. After our defeat, we were separated. I don't know where the others hide, except one, Miriam, who gathered us. She was a princess of the Presbyterate. Look for her deep in Scrimshander, in the Stygian repository, where the white bones turn black. He takes a last look at the locket from his wife, then clicks it closed. Give her this, so she knows I sent you. What was his role in the Seven? I was their financier. I came from modest means. However, my congregation consisted of industrialists, the gentry, bankers, people with an interest in immortality, and the willingness to invest. My doctrine was unconventional. Eternal life in this one, not the next. Yep. Liberty, equality, eternity, so to speak. What became of their endeavor? Well, we failed. Duh. Think I'd be sitting here if we had succeeded? We came close. We reached Nidah. We breached the Persimmon Gate. But reinforcements came, and the Waxwind was invoked. We scattered. Each of the 7 found a place to hide in the deeps, at a cost. This is mine. He indicates his skirts of coral. Well then. Oh, time to go, I suppose. Alright. Here's what we'll do. We'll get up. If I recall, Scrimshander is over here in the Sea of Lilies. Alright, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this. Of course. Wait, why is that still up? Whatever. Foreign cuisine. The cooking deviless insists that it is her turn to prepare a meal after being catered for your crew every time before. When the evening arrives, all of your men are curious about what will be served. The ingredients she's cooking with are the same your own cook uses. But somehow everything looks, smells, and tastes entirely different. Your crew is mesmerized, and the pirates relish a little in the envy they see in your men's eyes for being able to eat like this every day. The officers eat at a special table, apart from the common sailors, but there are only 7 dishes, since the claymen seem to be content with just their drinks. It's nice sitting at a table with people who actually eat the food I prepare, the cooking deviless says at that. Despite the calm situation, looking at the surrounding faces, you still feel the tension between the clay officers. You think the best course of action would be a little distraction, to engage in a conversation with the cooking deviless, who seems surprisingly unfazed by the strained atmosphere. You remark that it's rather uncommon to meet a devil who decides to work as a cook. I just had to start working in the kitchen, she says good-naturedly. There's simply no easier way to get rid of a big amount of enemies at once. Instantly all your officers stop eating, and the cooking deviless bursts out laughing. The pirate poet, who sits at your right, leans into you. And that right there is the reason why we insist for her to sit with us while eating, and not with the rest of the crew. I'll bet. Anyways, now, we swing by London. And since we've got the sunlight-filled mirror catch box, we're gonna try and swing by there. Damn it! I was hoping to swing by there before something awaits you, but whatever. No, we didn't have to deal with the, now we can, offload this catch box so we won't have to deal with it potentially getting us in trouble every time we dock. What else can we offload? This definitely. Alright, and now offload some of these flute cores. This bozo. Ah yes. Have your men wheel it in. Remove the cover with a flourish. Prism light scratches at the surface of the core. Oh yes, the alarming scholar breathes. Oh yes. He, seems to have forgotten you. So many savors. Come here, my love. Come here. The origo glow at its core brightens. Color leaks from the room, to be replaced by one shade only. You wake slowly in your cabin. The swinging lights seem dull after the origo glow. Your eyes itch oddly. What happened, exactly? The scholar, you know, will never speak of it. Alright, we're gaining a bunch of terror, but we're in London, so we can deal with that pretty easily. There, that should be good. And now, grab this. Rest in my elegant townhouse. Yeah, that should be fine. Could probably purchase at Z-side manor. I've certainly got the cash for it, but now I'll pass for now. And drop off these port reports, of course. I wish I could store some of the other stuff, like the serpentine, the pike, the armor plating, that sort of stuff. Oh well. I should really do something about this damn Sphinx stone. Actually, you know what? It's on the way. I might as well fill my hold with Sphinx stone. Yeah, grab some fuel. It would be better off if I grabbed it over in the Iron Republic, but meh. Who cares? Money is no object at this point. Alright, then we swing by Gator's Mourn, then the Salt Lions, then Scrimshander right here. Oh, nice. Oh, hang on. Just getting rid of that little bit of damage I took. Fuck. Damn it, I keep I'm still struggling to get used to having all this speed, you know? The folded impeller. Alright. A respectful departure. The next morning, Gator's Mourn comes into view, its lights glowing in the darkness of the Nidah. Whatever happened between dinner last night and today, it seems to have resolved any lingering anger between the Clay officers. They speak and act with each other like there was never a problem in the first place. After arriving in port, one by one of the pirates go ashore. That of it doesn't belong there. The last one is the stern navigator. He doesn't say a word, but he slightly bows to you before he walks from board. Honest respect, or just a truce? No matter what, for now it's enough. Alright. Man, when am I gonna get the damn... Ah yes, we should introduce Blummigans to the more. A wild seed. Like, oh, so many nooks, so many crannies, so many villains. It seems only appropriate. Off it goes, into the teeming, stinking hollows of the stalagmite. Probably it'll just end up in a pirate's pot. Probably. Damn it, I keep accidentally pressing that. Let's see, grab some Sunless fruit, why not? Some intelligence. Could certainly use some intelligence. Anything to sell here? No. Well, the Sunless fruit, I guess. But, nah. I don't really need the cash. I'm at the point where cash isn't really that important anymore. But I will still go for that, for the Sphinx stone stuff. What I should say is, small amounts of cash aren't really that important anymore. There's certainly some big purchases I'm planning on. Like the manor, for instance, which will wipe out most of my... Oh my! Oh shit. Damn it. Really hard to actually pilot this while also, you know, spamming those. Alright. Here we go. Unlucky shot. One salve of yours hit the hull of the pirate's ship, and whatever it was that they stored in there, it didn't go well with heat. The explosion is incredible and rips a giant hole in the side of the ship. Instantly, the battle is forgotten. The ship is already listing heavily. Your men don't even wait for your orders before they start fussing with the lifeboats. And when the first one hurries towards the sinking vessel, you're there, rowing with every bit of strength you have. Almost lost. A breath of relief escapes you when you arrive at the ship and see your whole crew, mostly unharmed, standing on the deck. The evacuation goes as fast as possible, but it's a difficult task, considering the fact that no one has to hold on tight to the listing vessel. so that one has to hold on tight to the lifting vessel to not end up in the Z. Suddenly a rope snaps and the sign mechanic crashes against the railing before plummeting towards the black water. He's gone in an instant, unable to swim because of his own clay weighing him down. A moment later, a second body hits the wave, and he realizes with dread that the cooking devilish jumped after him. Everlasting seconds pass, and it seems like both of them are lost, but at last they resurface, clutching at one another. 3 crewmen are necessary to pull the clay man into the boat, and you can't help but stare at the petite woman who managed to drag a body at least twice as heavy as normal man back to the surface. Devilish, remember? She says, shaking a little because of the freezing water, but also smiling. Alright. That certainly wasn't interesting. Well, I was very nearly very unfortunate. But hey, it was, on the other hand, it was very fortunate because we managed to actually stumble upon one almost immediately after dropping them off. That was unlikely. Ooh, put a blooming in ashore. Have I done this before? No, actually. Sensing something familiar, the Blummigan scales the face of the North Lion, squeezing fine tendrils into the narrowest of cracks, pressing on to the Unmaker's encampment. You leave it groping blindly at the laces of a tent, twittering softly. Alright. Let's fill our hold. Mostly, anyways. Alright. 30, that's 50. That's about as much as I can fill it. Well, maybe I could ditch some of this. I could ditch a little bit of fuel and... No, never mind. I need to offload 12 and that... Yeah, wouldn't be worth it. Alright. There we go. Now. Next time we swing by London, we'll be able to offload 110 Sphinx Stone. Oh yeah. Star Wars, baby. How long have I been recording? 20 minutes? Yeah. Alright. Little bit of supplies. Would have preferred a strange cast, but oh well. Wow. 2 abysses right next to each other. What are the odds? Whatever. Ah, here we go. Checkup. Both doctors on your ship inform you that everyone is alright. You still decide to check on the sign mechanic after what happened to him. However, when you find him, he isn't alone. You arrive just in time to see him part from a kiss with the cooking devilish, who gives you a smug smile before she leaves towards the galley. The sign mechanic rubs nervously his neck. Rubs nervously his neck? What? Not meeting her eyes. I better get back to work, he mumbles before going to. Alrighty then. Yeah. Honestly, I'm not really invested in any of these characters, frankly. But whatever. It's inoffensive enough. But frankly, I wish there was more focus on the, you know, actual pirate poet. He hasn't really featured that much. Whatever. Oh well. Takes you some time, but in the end you visit the cooking devilish because, well, you're curious. Ooh la la. Well, that is in character for me, both in Sunless Sea and Fallen London, of just taking any opportunity I have for seducing people. Even though in both cases I'm married. But, you know, it's the Nath. You want to know how it is being together with a clay man? Hard. I'll bet. Just an understanding, yet amused tone. It's not much different from being with someone else. They might have a hard shell, if you know what I mean, but in their core, they're just like you and me. And believe me, no one knows the value of what lies inside better than a devilish. Yeah, naturally, I mean, devils are all about what lies inside. You know, their bodies are, well, I can't speak for all devils because they kind of vary, but I do know that at least some of them are made up of paper. Or some kind of strange paper. And they're essentially their body is not their actual body. It's more of a hive, but it's like a beehive with only a single bee. So, you know? Well, usually only a single bee. Sometimes. I don't know. I know I've seen the inner workings of at least one devil, and it is, well, peculiar to say the least. And the bee thing wasn't entirely a metaphor either. Her features shift to a mischievous grin. Why don't you try it yourself? After all, you seem rather interested in the tattoos covering the poet's bare chest. At her mortified expression, she giggled. What mortified expression? I wouldn't be mortified by that. Oh, don't be so prudish. Yeah, you wouldn't be surprised how soft the touch of a clay hand feels on the skin. Come on, I've literally actually done that before. In this playthrough. It's just that it was overwritten. Wait, what am I doing? Docking here. Okay, good. We just barely avoided knocking right into that and taking a bit of damage. Phew. Alright. Before you looms the bone tower of Scrimshander, the city of remembrance. Ivory structures jut from the pile, supported by buttressing tusks. As your light plays across them, you can make out inscriptions, names, pictures, and dozens of lost languages. The largest ones carry a warning. All are welcome to enter, but none may depart without leaving something of themselves behind. That seems very, cultish, frankly. Accept the price and dock. A drownie floats before the docking gate of a bone cathedral. She wears a cowl and carries a ceremonial key carved from a femur. At your approach, she sings a solemn greeting. Soldier, scholar, servant of art, history welcomes without toll. But be warned, ere you depart, none who enter escape whole. Alright. A cowed crew. The Guardian unlocks the ivory gates. Steel glints in her fingers as she carves an image of your ship into her massive bone key. Your brave crew decide to remain on the ship as you disembark for the tower's dry center. Yes, very courageous of them. Oh yeah, I've got some people to think. You walk down a damp nave of bone. Intricately carved ivory walls depict improbable scenes from history. The walls are edged in tiny finger bones, each bearing a single name. Inhabitants wear ashen robes and carry steel-tipped bone quills. But you recognize most as drownies or Chulinate expatriates, while most are quiet and ignore visitors. You hear heated arguments over interpretations of the sacred remains. A sacred text. Sacred remains which will include whatever you leave behind when you depart. Yes, very cultish. Alright. Got some people to deliver, I suppose. Your silent messenger is transfixed by the murals, eyes wide and mouth agape. His unrepeatable exclamation is the first word you've heard from him. Monastic drownie. A flood of words. Something within the monastic drownie has been unloosed at the sight of such sweeping histories. After such a long time silent, he is eager to share his own, smaller stories. And until he can earn his own bone quill, you are his captive audience. The coins he gives you are valuable, but not as much as the tales that tumble out of him. 5Z stories. Yes. I was completely out of them. Although technically, I think these stories or at least can be sold for about 10 echoes, so technically they're the same value. But whatever. And a truth-hunting Chulinate. She kneels before an ivory carving of a faceless warrior. Its scarred figure resembles the tattoo on her arm. After saying a wordless prayer, the truth-hunting Chulinate stands and clasps you in a fierce embrace. In addition to payment, she proudly presents you with a garland of shark's teeth. My days of hunting monsters is over. Now I hunt heroes through the ages. And that's potentially more valuable, because you can potentially trade these for outlandish artifacts. Alright. Report considered an ongoing history of the present. Few histories, fewer departures. The inhabitants of Scrimshander spend much of their time preying on the mysteries of the past. They spend almost as much time arguing about their interpretations. Salted residents often collect nearby salvage, studying the results and inscribing their interpretations on any skeletal remains. But those who leave too often are easily recognized by what they have left behind in their travels. Memories, personalities, and bones. Otherwise, they rarely consider the present, certainly not with the same focus they give to the histories buried within their tower. Recent world events are met with polite silence, unless it prompts an anecdote about similarities with antiquity. Apart from old grudges and new theories, very little changes there. Let's see. Release of Blemigan. This place could use a little color. The violet Blemigan seems to agree. An avid student. The Blemigan settles in the shadow of a massive tusk, inscribed with the genealogy of Z-Beast. You have the nagging suspicion that it's reading for its own name. Alright. Now, where do I find this person? Let's see. Gather the stage of history. Scholars file quietly into a pair of great ivory doors at the far end of the hallway. When they stumble out again, you can hear raised voices, arguments, and laughter. To the amphitheater. After the reverent silence of the outside, the boisterous noise of the amphitheater washes over you like the heavy sea beyond its walls. Let's see. Oh. Maybe. Actors strut in the amphitheater of bone, performing historical plays of dubious veracity. An audience watches from below, with each roaring drunk member applauding or jeering different details of the work. Above, an imperious figure wearing a crown of ivory judges each performance from a raised theater box. All are served by a single man, weaving between the crowd and wearing a perpetual smirk. Let's see, the glib historian. The mushroom wine he serves is stale. The plays he announces are questionable at best. But the impeccably bearded man with the olive skin laughs at every performance, and has a smile for every patron. Warring theories on the stage of history. Some cheer history as the work of brave and inspired heroes, especially them who wish they could be heroes themselves. The glib historian rolls his eyes theatrically. Others say it's all shaped by cyclical changes in scientific progress, economics, and such. But none gets in the way of a good story like nuance. He spits out the word like a rotten grape. Oh yes, how terrible. We let him argue up on the stage and give an ivory crown to whoever is most convincing at the moment. He waves a hand at the temporary monarch in the raised seat above. But as far as I'm concerned, he confides, filling a patron's mug with cheap wine, history is what you make of it. And I make a killing. You've learned enough about history to distrust any one person's interpretation. Indeed. Alright, that's not where I need to go. That's certainly interesting. Yeah, as they say, nothing gets in the way of a good story like nuance. A dirty word, to be sure. Alright, assist an ancient chronicler. A bandaged monk sits, attempting to carve a tale with a steel-tipped quill. This is not work for a trembling hand. A day dictated. The monk describes a day in the life of a tomb colonist, while you wield the quill. Its nib carves the bone as easily as if it were mushroom flesh. A nib, for those unfamiliar with these sorts of quills, is the pointed end of it, which is where which distributes the ink onto the surface in a controlled manner. The tale is dry, but he insists it be recorded for posterity. Few tomb colonists come to share their tales. A historical blind spot, he laments at length. When the work is finished, he invites you to see further tales in the ivory archives as his guest. Is it that few tomb colonists come to share their tales, or is it that they shared their tales before they were tomb colonists? Who can say? Well, the tomb colonists, that's who. Alright, but where the bloody hell... Maybe she's in the archives? At least 5 points is recommended. I can trade wine and coffee. That's it. Even the most avid scholar knows that not all historical tales are exciting. The fuel of history. The guardians of the archives can barely contain their greed. While theories differ on what drives history, it is agreed that historians themselves are driven by coffee. Plah! Disgusting. Let's see. And trade some wine. The glib historian is always looking to restock his supply for thirsty audiences, and he has surprising influence with the archivists. The glib historian holds surprising sway with the archivists. He assures you that those surrounded by the horrors of history often need a stiff drink. Indeed. Let's see. Alright. Well, we've got 5 points. I guess we could go in. Do not over. The Ivory Archives are a wealth of history, with ages of visitors' stories carved into the bone pillars that build the citadel. It's something between a library and an ossuary, but less inviting than either, I imagine, combined. Downwards, into history. The monks grudgingly allow you to enter, but warn you that staying longer than your allotted time will incur significant penalties. They refrain from going into details, but you notice that their bone quills are significantly larger and sharper than their fellows. Alright. Narrow passages wind through the old city, shadowed, ever descending. You walk alone, except for the constant remains of those who came before you, each bearing their sad, small tales. They all end the same way. They all end here. Will you? Continue downwards. The tales of the dead surround you. Each step buries you deeper in the past. What came before now? What terrors of yesterday led to today? Empires crumble. Steel yourself before a dread visage. History's horrors are too numerous to count, especially when their results are so difficult to face directly. Unflinching examination. You've seen worse. You've had worse done to you. In fact, you've probably done worse to others, but only deserves what deserved it. Alright. Memories deceive. Bonequake. A shower of bone dust falls from above. Then a trickle of water. Suddenly the bones supporting this passage crumble above you. Run! Yes. A narrow escape. You look back on the collapsed tunnel behind you. In the puddling remains, you find the culprit. A burrowing bone worm. All teeth and cilia. Is that how it's pronounced? I don't know if that's how it's pronounced, but it's essentially the, actually, I'm not entirely certain, because a cilium, which is the plural, whose plural is cilia, is essentially it's a piece of a cell. Essentially, it's called something called an organelle, which is sort of a specialized subunit of a cell, sort of like what an organ is to a body. But that doesn't make any sense. On the other hand, a cilium when it comes to insects is the fine hairs along an insect wing. But why would a worm have cilia? That's really odd. Huh. Anyways, good for bait, bad for remains, and mercifully crushed in the passage's collapse. Okay then. Alright, continue on, I suppose. Read the tales from a mass grave. You find yourself in a hovel of stacked bones, each inscribed with the name and tale of a drowned corpse. Broken bones. This skeleton is scorched, cracked, and broken. Someone took their time with its owner before letting them die. 4 words are carved into the forehead. Chief Navigator. Fortis Kettle. Fortis? What? Wait a minute. Fortis Kettle. That's that ship from London. That's the vessel that Igel, under the port, Igel is built around. Huh. That's interesting. Now they search for the exit, or we could continue on. Damn it. You know what? Fuck it. This calls for bold action. Gotta know if there's something down here that's hit my ambition, damn it. I am always and still a moth to folly's candle. Identify unusual remains. This far down, you should expect anything. But the carved remains of a rubbery man will always be a little surprising. Remains. A different sort of history. It hasn't got many bones proper. I didn't even know they had any bones, actually. But its calcified tentacles bear inscriptions in an unrecognizable language. As you study the writing, one tentacle crumbles, revealing a gleaming lump clutched to the poor thing's chest. Bit of scintillate, nice. Alright. And now we can overstay our welcome. Why not? This is a plan with neither flaw nor chance of error. Well, it's not even that risky of a challenge. You can't stop now. You need to know what came before. Damn the costs. Haha! Onwards, unheeding. Eyeless sockets stare at you from every side. Accusatory finger bones reveal your path. Inscribed tales warn you of the danger. But still you continue. Attacked by a mad monk. Turning a damp corner, you find a bedraggled monk. Her drowning eyes are wild, and she stands over the remains of one of her fellows. She raises her flensing knife and lunges at you. A fate written in bone. You parry her lunge and she flees into the dark, leaving the partially peeled monk. But wait, its bones have already been inscribed, even where the flesh has only just been stripped away. Through the viscera, you can read an account of the poor soul's final moments. That's a heady stop. Right? Down and down into the deep. Who knows what we'll find beneath. Alright, unusual remains once again. Looks like this will be hopefully the last. On. Oof. Here we go. Explore the Stygian repository. The ivory fades. The chambers here are carved from the blue-black bones of the worst monsters of the deep. Right then. Here we go. Finally. The Stygian repository. The repository is filled with statues carved from the same black bone as the walls. The ceiling. The floor. This statue exults over the body of a fallen foe. This one drags itself up a shingled slope. This one is a child with the bleak eyes of an old man. The floor is carpeted in thick, dark bone dust. You move deeper into the serried population of statues. Wait, that one is not a statue. It's a woman, observing you with pelican eyes. She wears a dusty apron. One hand holds a delicate brush, the other a thin, gleaming chisel. Her skin is the exact black blue of the bone walls. She brushes dust from her apron. A small copper kettle steams on the floor at her feet, emitting a sharp, nutty odor. Every surface in the chamber, a tessellation of cemented bone, is engraved. Amongst the threading scrawl, certain phrases repeat. Remember the waxwind. It will find you. I am a candle. Wind wax, wind wax, wind wax. Give her Litton's locket. I think you must be lost, she says, before you show her the locket. She takes it, thoughtfully. She listens as you describe your ambition. The locket turns over and over in her hands. Her eyes are dark, fathomless. When you are finished, something stirs in them. Immortality, true immortality without tricks or compromise, resides in Nidah. We can help you. Yes, we failed once, but failure hones. It hardens. Help me take Nidah, and you'll have all the life you could ever live. But to get it, we must restore the 7 against Nidah. Dude, we're getting the band back together! Need a financier, a propagandist, a guide, a commander, a fleet captain, and a healer. Oh yeah. Wait, that's only 6. Well, I guess she's right here, so I guess she counts as one of them. Let's see. Ask who she is. She hesitates and turns to the wall, reading the writing there to refresh her memory. Yes, I was the presbyter's daughter. She speaks hesitantly, following the memories like breadcrumbs. I was estranged from my father. He tried to win me back with a gift that wasn't his to give. I spurned it. I rebelled. I founded the 7 against Nidah. I failed. I fled. I bargained. I hid here. I make statues and try to remember. She presses one hand to her head, as if it could trap the thoughts within. Ask why she opposes Nidah. She frowns. I'm not sure I can remember. I must have written it down somewhere. I can remember what my colleagues would have said. To live eternal. To undo the injustice of death. But I was offered immortality and gave it away. I never cared overly for the betterment of others. She thinks for a while. Perhaps I just dislike smugness. The presbyters are very, very smug. Part of the story, perhaps. Well, as they say, to quote Ogloff, well, good and evil may be relative, but being a dick cannot be abided. Why is she here? Her mouth twists in distaste. As punishment for our attempt on their city, the Nidaheen promised me to the Waxwind. I sought sanctuary in the Fathom King's hold, and made an arrangement with his complexity. He changed me. She runs a finger down her pelican cheeks. I forget things, now, unless I write them down, or put faces to them. Here among the other lost histories, I am hidden from the Presbyterate's agents and oracles, but were I to venture above the waves, the Waxwind would find me, and I'd end my days a candle. She's not being metaphorical either. What was her role in the 7? I gathered them, and once they were gathered, I became their schemer. I engineered wars between the sub-kingdoms of the Elder Continent to distract the presbyter's attention. I occupied our enemy's spies with intrigues, and I settled disagreements among the 7, which naturally arose. We were idealists and opportunists. The stakes were high. What does she know of the presbyter? She snorts. Even their definite article is a lie. There have been many. The College of Mortality accords them eternal life, and when a presbyter tires of the throne, or reigns 1,000 years, they give up the title and join the college. Thus, everything remains the same. The old presters choose new ones. The new ones join the old. Alright then, what must be done? Follow her to the Hall of Sevens. Come, lots to do. 7 plinth, 7 statues, 7 against Nidah. I made them, Miriam tells you, to help me remember. The guide. The dust puffs about your feet as you approach the black-bone statue of a gentleman with a capacious forehead and a discerning scowl. Lorenzo, Miriam recalls, an explorer from the surface, who came down here to be the first to climb the mountain. The Nidaheen drove him away. I recruited him. He charted the interior for us, and plotted the course of our armies. Now, he fled into the north, where I have heard he maintains a lighthouse. Oh, fairly certain I've met him then. The propagandist. This statue depicts an unassuming, bespectacled man with thinning hair and a solemn face. Bourdain, Miriam remembers. She remembers Bourdain better than the others. We were confidants. He was a Frenchman and, in his day, a member of the Revolutionaries' Calendar Council. He wrote pamphlets and placed bombs. I could not say which were more incendiary. Her smile is fond. If the worst came to the worst, he meant to hide in Frostfound, but the ice spires swallowed him. Years ago I sent an agent to retrieve him, but their vessel was lost. Prey to pirates, I think. Or wreckers. Ah, wrack, then. The financier. The statue has its hands folded at its waist. The expression is determined, beatific. Miriam has hung Leighton's locket, which you gave her when you first met, around its neck. She gropes for his name for a moment. Leighton. He was more than a financier. He was our courage. He inspired us when we faltered. You remind her that he wants no further part in the endeavor. Yes, but he has told us who should replace him. She clicks open the locket. The face of the fierce philanthropist looks out. And the soldier. A well-built man in late middle age. His head is bald. His beard is near. Batuk, Miriam says, pleased that she could remember. I'm rather proud of this one. Miriam examines the words she once carved on the statue's plinth. Yes. Rosina's cousin. He was one of the Presbyterate's border guards, the Gracious, but they discharged him when he allowed an explorer access to the interior. An explorer. She taps her teeth, thinking. Lorenzo? Afterwards, Batuk became a mercenary and joined our number. He'd had enough of discipline. He would have sought a place of freedom. Yes, I think I've seen someone with that icon before. Nook. Alright. The captain. A wiry gentleman of the Khanate. His graven expression is unimpressed. This is Eric, Miriam tells you. Engraved on his plinth are the words, the 2nd of the 7th. I remember when he was the first I recruited to my scheme. He was a scion of the Taiman, injured in a battle against my homeland. I saved his life. My father was not pleased. Wait. Is he the one you gave the borrowed years to, then? It's interesting. Eric seized the Palermi vessels we needed to navigate the Red River. He commanded our fleets. After our defeat, he planned to go to Hideaway. He said he had an idea. Hideaway, yes, I know the place. That place built upon the back of a giant Z-beast. The Healer. This statue is of a woman of advancing years, a daughter of the Presbyterate, clad in a priestess's robe. Our healer, Rosina. She was the abbess of the hospital in Adam's Way and petitioned Nidah on several occasions to afford her patients additional time. The Nidahine ignored her. I did not. Oh, or was she the one you gave the borrowed time to? Miriam rubs her temples, struggling to remember. She contracted a condition of her own. If she has survived, it will be because she has found somewhere calm and clear and hard. Interesting. I don't know the place, though. The Schemer. Statue of Miriam, clad not in a mason's apron, but a royal gown. A knowing smile graces her black-bone lips. To remind me of what I was, before the Fathom King changed me. Before I began to forget. She looked at the replica of herself, chewing her lip. I look certain, don't I? Confident. I wonder if that was true, or if I made it up. Who can say? So, then. The guide. Lorenzo. Wasn't it? Yeah. He'll be in the lighthouse. He'll be at Rack. He'll be, this bozo will be at Port Carnelian. This one will be, yeah, Nook. Hideaway. And I don't know where. Oh, what? Alright. Okay, good. We can just visit her easily. I'll make a note of all of that. And then let's leave. Were there quite this many guards when you came in? Was there always a pile of fresh bones by the entrance? Let's see. Alright. There you go. Provide transport for a like, no one may depart Inscryption without leaving something of themselves behind, by which to be remembered. Tradition demands it, as do the muscular guards at the gate. Their sharpened bone quills are at the ready to collect your donation. Let's see. Provide transport for a scholar. A bandaged scholar stands near the exit, angrily brushing ash off himself. At your approach, he brusquely demands passage to Hideaway. Of course he'll pay. Alrighty then. In search of history's losers. You'll find plenty of them. He's studied remains of 100 wars and read 1,000 bitter ends. Now he seeks the survivors so he can interview them in person. He assures you that it's a purely academic interest. His life has been splendid, personally. He merely wishes to see how they live with themselves. I'm sure. Oh, okay, I can't. I've got to actually leave something behind. Okay, well, I've got a shit ton of hunting trophies, so why not? It was dearly earned. Only fair that it be dearly spent. Some other hero's tale. The guards light incense and clean the trophy with a musky oil. As you recount the victory that won it, a chronicler etches your words into its surface. The scratching of the bone quill grows louder in your ears with every word. By the time you finished, your trophy has been replaced with an identical copy, but this one has been inscribed with a thrilling fictional tale. As you depart, you wonder if you would recognize the hero of such a thrilling yarn. Alright. Oh, we can sell hunting trophies for a good price, and also violent ink. Yeah, I don't think I need it for anything, but I'll keep one. You can also buy lamentable relics for a terrible price, and fuel for a decent price. Good price, even. Alright. So, I wish I could make marks on this map. So, we need, since we're here, we should swing by, Hideaway, that's one. And then the Undercrow. And I think I should, you know what, maybe I should just swing by like every single Untersea port. Because I don't know where all of the, there's certainly some there unaccounted for. Maybe not Low Barnet. I'm probably saying there's jack shit in Low Barnet. But yeah. Well, I mean, there's Lorenzo, but who cares about Lorenzo? I think it's just a storyline that'll take me to all of the Untersea ports or something like that. But I suppose we'll do that next time. Bloody hell, this has gone a lot longer than I expected. I've spent a lot of time in Scrimshander. But yeah. Next time, we'll start getting the band back together and finding replacements for some. Until then, I have been Joe Bob, and I'm very peeved. And remember, dislike the video, unsubscribe if you're for some reason subscribed, and leave a nasty comment in the comment section down below. So long, suckers.